Psalm 126. When the Lord restored the fortunes of Zion, we were like those who dream. Then our mouth was filled with laughter, and our tongue with shouts of joy. Then they said among the nations, the Lord has done great things for them. The Lord has done great things for us. We are glad. Restore our fortunes, O Lord, like streams in the Negev. Those who sow in tears shall reap with shouts of joy. He who goes out weeping, bearing the seed for sowing, shall come home with shouts of joy, bringing his sheaves with him. Commentary for Psalm 126. Psalm 126 is a song of ascents, celebrating God's restoration of Israel from Babylonian captivity, filled with joyous astonishment and gratitude, while also serving as a prayer for future restoration. Famously promising that those who sow in tears shall reap with shouts of joy, linking present struggles to future abundant harvests through God's faithfulness. It moves from past deliverance to future hope, encouraging reliance on God for continued blessing beyond initial joy. Key themes and meaning. Joyful restoration, verses 1 through 3, recalls the overwhelming joy when God freed Israel from exile, making them feel like they were dreaming, a wonder even onlookers acknowledged as God's work. Prayer for continued blessing, verses 4 through 6, shifts from past triumph to present need, asking God to restore our fortunes, like streams replenishing dry desert land, leading to joyful harvest. Hope through tears, verses 5 and 6. This famous promise that sorrowful labor, sowing in tears, ultimately leads to abundant rejoicing, reaping with sheaves, framing present difficulties as seeds for future joy. Pilgrimage song. As a song of ascents, it was sung by pilgrims traveling to Jerusalem, connecting their journey and struggles to God's redemptive work. Interpretations and applications. Historical context. Most often linked to the return from Babylonian exile, but can also reflect David's return from Absalom's coup. Spiritual life encourages remembering past acts of God to fuel hope for future challenges, viewing tears and struggles as part of a fruitful spiritual journey, not an end point. Mission. The image of sowing and reaping can apply to missionary work or personal efforts to bring others to faith, acknowledging the pain but anticipating the joy of spiritual faithfulness and fruitfulness. And sharing some thoughts today from In the Lord I Take Refuge from Dane Ortland. This is the thoughts for Psalm 126. What comes into most people's minds when they hear the word Christianity? Perhaps they associate it with rules or moralism or going to church or narrow-mindedness. What comes into most people's minds when they hear the word party? Perhaps celebration, good times, fun, laughter, shouting. Consider this psalm. Consider what Christianity actually is. It is a turning from every hollow pleasure of this world to real joy. As C.S. Lewis famously put it in his essay, The Weight of Glory, we are half-hearted creatures, fooling around with drink and sex and ambition when infinite joy is offered us, like an ignorant child who wants to go on making mud pies in the slum because he cannot imagine what is meant by the offer of a holiday at the sea. This is life with God, solid joy, not empty excitement. The kind of deep happiness that makes us truly human, which we long for and stumble around seeking to find, but often miss. This does not mean that life with God is pain-free. This very psalm is a community lament, reflecting on a past season of divine mercy, verses 1 through 3, with a plea for renewed mercy, verse 4, but the psalmist sees through the veil of sorrows. He sees that on the other side of weeping is joy. He sees that the night of sorrow will one day turn to the morning of gladness. This is a rhythm of Christianity. Christ himself went through this, the weeping of the cross, the joy of resurrection. In the Lord's restorative work in Christ is true laughter and shouts of joy. Verses 2, 5, and 6. Life in Christ is a celebration, not shallow merriment, but a deep pain, acknowledging celebration for the best is yet to come. Thanks for joining me today, guys. God bless.